I think it was very interesting that this whole conference has been very interesting. We brought progressives from all around the country together, get a chance to talk, get a chance from hear from the candidates for governor, get a chance to hear from the candidates for Senate, and I think it's very important that we do that. And what I learned from all of this is that progressive ideas and the progressive agenda is live and well. Whether it was Senator Specter or Congressman Sestak, they want to understand that they can't get elected without promoting a progressive agenda, that American people are tired of the same old, and what they want is people are going to fight for them, rebuild the middle class, create jobs that people can raise a family on. And I think that our message is finally getting through, and it's going to be a progressive agenda that's going to win again in this coming election cycle. That's what I got from this.
Okay, and what did you think of, Arlen Specter brought up the idea of the House just passing the Senate version of the health care bill. What did you think of that?
Well, I think that he didn't quite say that. What he said is that the House can make some changes to the Senate bill, then they can send it back and we can go to reconciliation. And obviously there's some elements of the Senate bill that are unacceptable. That's why we saw there what I called in my comments middle class revolt in Senator Kennedy's seat for replacing Senator Kennedy. We actually saw a middle class revolt against an elitist health care bill, against a Senate that has not enacted President Obama's agenda. There wasn't a reaction against President Obama. They like President Obama, they like his agenda. It was a reaction against a Senate that hadn't moved fast enough on that agenda. So I think Senator Specter was saying it's time that we pass comprehensive health care, and he also said he was for a robust public option.
And you used that word elitist in your speech as well. Can you explain why the Senate bill is elitist to you?
Well, it's for me on a personal level, it's very simple. The Senate came out with a bill would tax health care plans for middle class workers over time, but not one penny of tax on rich people who had benefited from huge tax cuts that were passed through the Bush administration that helped create the huge deficit that the country has by giving rich people and powerful people tax cuts they didn't need and didn't ask for. And so when you come and bring in a health care bill and you ask middle class workers to pay for that health care, but you let rich folks off the agenda, that shows you're out of touch with America, and that's an elitist bill to my view.
Okay, and now whatever bill we probably get will likely not be as progressive as many would like. What would you say to folks who, say single payer or bust, or what would you say to them to get them on board with something not quite as progressive?
Well, I grew up in Canada, and we have universal health care in Canada and a single payer system, but we didn't get it overnight. It took us 20 years. We should have had this 30, 40, 50 years ago in America. America should have led on health care instead of being the last nation on earth that doesn't have universal health care. So I think we move forward now. We go to the states and we bring forward single-payer health care in states like Pennsylvania and other states. In Canada, health care came about first in the provinces and then federally. So I'm prepared to fight for what we can get federally, but not to make that the last and only fight. We got to keep fighting until we get universal single-payer health care across the country.
Okay, great. And our last question, if there's one message you wanted folks to take away from the Progressive Summit, the PA Progressive Summit, what would that be?
That the progressive agenda is alive and well. We need to fight for it. It's our agenda that's going to have our kids and grandkids someday sitting in a rocking chair on the porch with us and saying because of what our parents and grandparents did, we have a better life today.
Okay, thank you very much for taking the time.